Oh yeah, we're about to get started. Welcome, Beaches. Alright, we about to get started. Ooh, gotta hold the plank. Hold the plank for as long as the intro lasts. Is that the thing? That's the deal? That's the dealy yo-yo? Alright. Stop being a beesh.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing, 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 testicles, testicles. Oh, welcome everyone to episode 1086 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gangcast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and as a slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex. Biceps. What is going on, Yaz Beaches? Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the Slamcast. Welcome to the Mancast. Welcome to the Beardcast. Welcome to episode 1086. We are here live on Instagram, YouTube, Periscope, and the Twitch. Everywhere you can catch the Daily Swole. And a reminder for those of you that like to catch the Gain Train on YouTube, you can subscribe to the second channel, Daily Swole Podcast. That way you can catch the gains on YouTube as well. So if you like to watch live stuff there, that's where you go watch it live. So subscribe over there too. New Ask Papa Swolio on YouTube. You can check that out. Brand new episode on YouTube, posting stuff pretty much every single day, every day. So make sure you go check that out. Yeah, episode 1086. Time is flying. Always does. Every day, another swole. That's how you know. That's how you can judge the passage of time. You're like, oh my God, it's 1086. I remember where I was during episode 1000. I remember where I was during episode 700. It's like the Kennedy assassination. You remember where you were. September 11th. You remember where you were when during episode this time. Every day. How far do you think we'll go? Who knows? No one knows. No one knows. The swole gods are the only ones that are aware how far this will be taken. Saturday, it's around 3:30. Where's everyone at? What'd you do today? What'd you lift today? Today is going to be a little upper body for me. I did lower body yesterday. Some other things that are going on today, Saturday. So Thursday, another reminder, those of you that are in Swolenormous X, the masterclass is up on the site. The masterclass is on the timeline in the private Facebook group. All that stuff, the new releases for the kitchen, the nutrition lifestyles, more recipes coming, and the new designed Swolga section is going to be released this weekend. So we got a lot of stuff going on, and tomorrow's a Sunday Fun Day Q&A-ness. So we're going to do some live Q&A tomorrow. Today's episode, 1086, is moving more, eating less. I've been on the kick. I've been on the real kick to kick you in the fucking taint. I have been on a rage with the basics, and I always am. I'm always on a basic rage. Papa Swolio is a basic bitch. I'm a basic beesh. I like to pound you with the basics. I like to slap you with the knowledge cock as often as I can, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, or it's on YouTube, the podcast. I just like to drop the basics down upon thee. Everything from supplementation to nutrition to just overall fitness concepts, things that will help you refocus and retarget your goals. And that's one of the things that needs to happen pretty much almost daily. That's one of the benefits of having a regular meditation practice, a reflective practice, a time during your day when you can kind of zone out, regather information, your senses, where you are, where your head is at, where you're going, and kind of take this direction and refine it, because it's very easy to just go through the motions and get stuck in a rut. And getting stuck in that rut is not always something that's out of your control. More oftentimes, it is in your control. It's whether or not you are aware of that control and you kind of shake yourself out of that. It's very easy to get stuck in this kind of just routine. Okay, you go here, you do this, and days end. You do this, you do this, you do this, and day's over. And you just do the same thing every day. That is also one of the ways you get results. If you're consistent with your training, you're consistent with your nutrition, relentlessly consistent, you just fucking hammer the basics all the time, you're going to get a lot more results than people that are starting at the higher level. People that start by micromanaging, people that start worrying about recomposition. All these questions that I get all the time, they're not bad questions, but they're just not the right questions to be asking. More often than not, people ask questions. What's that noise? Something was moving. Anyway, more often than not, people ask questions that they don't need to be asking. Right? They're asking questions that are far too complicated for what they're looking for. They're asking questions that they don't need the answer to. Things like blood flow restriction training. Like, who gives a shit? Things like BCAA supplements. Who gives a shit? Things like certain specific targeting exercises when the basics work, the basic lifts. If you're trying to build muscle, you got to do the basic lifts. You got to do the basic fundamental lifts. Basic fundamental lifts, whether at home or in a gym: squats, lunges, deadlifts, RDLs, pushing, pulling, pull-ups, rows. The basics work. The basics fucking work. And you don't need the variety that you think you do. You truly do not need the variety that you think you do. What's the best exercise for biceps? Curling some fucking weight. What's the best exercise for back? Pulling shit. What's the best exercise for chest? Pushing shit. You want to push with a bar? You want to push with dumbbells? Cool, as long as you're pushing it. And then you can refine your form and focus on and check out how many reps work for you and rest periods and frequency. Those are things that aren't as important as doing the basics. And I do think that's a good point. That's a good point, Holly. People want it to be confusing to make excuses not to go. That's a very interesting point. If you're making things confusing, what can you do? You can trick yourself into thinking you need these supplements. You can trick yourself into thinking that it's more complicated than it is, and that can give you an out. It can give you more of a reason to make an excuse, like, oh, I just don't have time for this. I have people sometimes that we have members that sometimes leave Swolenormous X, believe it or not. They say they don't have time. I'm like, wait a second. That's bullshit. If you don't have time, your fucking shit is broken. Your shit upstairs above your fucking neck is broken. If you think you don't have time to exercise, if you think you don't have time to work out, if you think you don't have time to eat healthy, you are so full of shit, it's coming out your fucking eyeballs. And I feel bad for you if you say you don't have time. I know so many people that you would look at their schedule and they don't have fucking time. Like I don't know when they take a shit. They don't have fucking time and they still work out. I know people, and we have members that have 5 kids, 6 kids, more than that. Trust me. I don't know why, personal choice, but they have so many fucking children and they still have a job. They still make it happen. How can they do it, but you can't? You don't have any kids, or you have one child and you have one job. How come you can't do it, but all these other people can? What's different about them than you? And the good news is nothing. Nothing is different. It's their priority. It's their passion. It's their focus, their scheduling. They are putting their fitness on a pedestal. They are putting their fitness at the top of the heap. They are intertwining their life with their training. They're not making it a separate optional thing. How many of you have kids? How many of you have kids and train? And I'm using kids, and I don't have children. So I'm not claiming to be like, well, you don't understand. I understand plenty. I've been around kids enough to understand the responsibility it takes. If you have a fucking dog, you can understand what it's like to have a kid. It's just more than that. All right, we can all have perspective. I don't need to actually have them to know that they take a lot of fucking work. So there's no debate here. How many of you have kids and train regularly? Drop in the comments, how many kids do you have? How many children do you have? And how many and do you train regularly? I mean, you're here, so I'm assuming you're going to comment if you have kids. If you have children, those are responsibilities. You can't put your kid in a cage and be like, I'll be back later, like a dog. Well, I guess you can. You just might get arrested for it, right? You can't just, even with the dog, you have to walk the dog. You have to feed. You have to take care of it. But you have a lot less responsibility than a human child. So many people can still get it done. What do you say about those people? How do you not have fucking time? That's such a bullshit excuse. That's right. When you have 3 kids, you have 3 priorities. So add another one to the list. Your fitness, you're a priority to yourself. You're your own child. You have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself. That's the worst excuse. That's the worst excuse. And the vast majority of people want to either lose weight or lose body fat. Maybe you don't want to lose a lot of weight. You don't want to lose 50 pounds, but you want to get leaner. Most people want that. I got on the board behind me. The answer, you move more and you eat less. How complicated is that? Now, of course, you know that I am the largest proponent of eating the right shit. The quality of your food matters. It fucking matters. It matters, it matters, it matters, it matters, it matters, it matters. The food quality matters. You have 2 foods that are in the same category, 2 different types of meat, 2 different types of vegetables. One's dirty, one's filled with chemicals and poison and shit, and the other one is not. One is better than the other. You want to eat one, they're the same thing, but one is treated differently, one is grown, raised, whatever differently. Food quality fucking matters. You are what you eat, and you are what your food eats. And that's the goddamn fucking truth. It matters. It does matter. To what percentage, to what extent does it matter? No one can say, because there's so many variables in a person's life. It's where do you live? Do you live in a toxic environment? What do you clean your house with? What do you wash your clothes with? Do you spray cologne, and do you put deodorants with chemicals on? Do you live under power lines? Do you get enough sleep? Do you hydrate properly? Do you train? Do you sit on a couch all day? Do you sit at a desk all day? Are you in traffic a lot? Are you stressed out? There are so many factors that will lead to someone having a healthier life or live a longer life. Then it's not just simply, okay, just the food. There are a lot of different variables, and you can't account for all of them just by looking, oh, this is good, this is bad. You'll be healthy if you eat this. You won't if you eat that. There are other factors. That's why scientific studies there are always loopholes, and there's always, well, what about this? What about that? And that's why studies have to keep on being done, because there's so many variables. And the more variables, the less accurate that any kind of study is. So it's more observational. Oh, we observe, and we're still learning those types of things. But the quality of your life and the quality of what you do, the quality of how you carry out your life and how often you move, in what manner you move, what you eat, the quality of what you eat, right? How much of what you're eating. You could eat quality food in excessive quantities and you'll gain weight. Why? You're consuming more energy than your body needs. Your body's going to store the energy because that's what bodies do. Your body wants to survive. If I gave you extra money, you wouldn't just throw it in the toilet. You would put it in the bank. You would save it. Your body saves energy too. Your body saves money. Your body saves energy, saves it as fat. That's what your body does. And your body will adapt to its surroundings. So let's stick to some fucking basics. Let's stick to the fucking basics. Stop asking these stupid questions. To yourself. Forget me. I'm grateful for all the questions you ask. And you can say there are no stupid questions. I disagree. There's context, right? There's context. There's laziness sometimes behind these questions. You are not at fault for asking stupid questions. It doesn't make it not stupid. You might ask a stupid question. It's not your fault. You're not being mean. I don't think you are stupid, but some of these questions are stupid. And they come from a place, they come from a good place. You want the answer because you think that a question about supplements, you think that a question about blood flow restriction training, you think a question about that will give you an answer that will help you get closer to your goal. And I understand that's the intention. And that's why you can say overarching, there's no stupid questions. But if you think about what a purpose or the purpose of a question is to gather information and gather information about useful directions, gather useful information. Think about the quality of your questions. Where is this coming from? Are you asking certain questions? Certain questions show to me your level of interest, your level of investment in yourself. Some questions are just lazy. How do I get abs? How do I lose weight? For real? Don't waste my time with stupid, vague questions. I'm also going to call you out and bring your attention back to what really matters. You need to do resistance training, body weight, resistance, weights, just fucking do resistance training. Hey, is body weight exercise the same as resistance training? No. That's why one's called body weight and one's called resistance with weights. I mean, they're two different things. Of course, they're not the same. They're nowhere near the same. You don't see professional bodybuilders just doing push-ups and pull-ups. You need overload. You need a lot of specific stress. There's a lot of different ways to get results too. Are you going to be a professional bodybuilder? Do you want to get that big? No? Then maybe you can get the results that you want with just body weight exercises. I mean, there's different tools and there's different things for a reason in this world because they're going to get you different results. People like different things. The human body will adapt to anything that you do. Anything that you fucking do. If you only do body weight, guess what your body's going to get really good at? You guessed it, body weight exercises. Let's say you do a lot of weights and you lift a lot of weights. Guess what your body's going to get good at? You guessed it, lifting weights. How does your body get better at lifting weights? Builds muscle, builds endurance, strength endurance, power, all those things. Depending on how you're training, your body will get used to that and adapt in order to handle that stress, in order to handle the environment and the stresses that you are putting it under. That's what the body does. When you're just doing random shit, when you're going and just moving randomly, that's when you'll see maybe some results, maybe some initial results. You'll plateau quicker. You might not get the physique that you want ideally. And you're like, well, how do I get rid of fat here? How do I get rid of fat here? By not doing random shit, by not going to Zumba class and expect that you're going to look like a fucking fitness model. There are certain approaches to the body and to training that have been proven to get results. And again, it comes back to what result do you want and what training are you doing to achieve it? If you want more of an athletic outcome, then you're going to have to do more athletic type training. Are you ready for athletic type training? Are you an athlete? There's another one. Everyone calls themselves an athlete. You're an athlete, train like one. No, you're not. Your name is Joe and you're an accountant from Jersey. You're not a fucking athlete. You're a dude that sits in a chair and in a car all fucking day. You shouldn't be going and doing athletic things. You need to foundationally repair your body even just to get to zero before you start doing any kind of like higher level performance. You don't just jump into that shit. You're sitting down all the time and then you're gonna go to CrossFit and fucking jump and flip and throw and run. You're gonna get fucking injured. That's what a lot of people do. You can make the argument, oh, it's better to do something than nothing, I guess, but it's also good not to get hurt. It's also good to relate contextually to that person. Society is different now. We're not all farmers and warriors. It's not Viking culture where you summon all the people that live in your town and you go raiding. We don't live like that anymore. And it's not to say that the human body shouldn't be able to do that. But when you've been, for example, an accountant for 40 years, you didn't grow up with a battle axe in your hand and pushing a fucking hoe and farming your entire life. You're just getting started into fitness. You need to do repair first. You got to fix what you've been damaging your entire life. You got to start from scratch, and before scratch, you have to get to scratch. You have to fix all the issues that you've acquired over those years. You don't have to worry about the supplements. You don't have to worry about what protein powder to take. You don't need that shit. Look, you do not need that shit. You don't. but what about the plant-based powder? But what about this powder? But what about this? Fuck all of it. I'm telling you, you do not need it. You do not need it. You're trying to gain weight, you still don't need it. You're trying to lose weight, you don't need it. You want to get more endurance, you don't fucking need it. You want to build muscle, you don't fucking need it. You want to get more flexible, you don't fucking need it. Like, you don't need that stuff. Do you want to take it? If you take it, you might have reactions. You're going to be sucking down artificial particles, maybe heavy metals from manufacturing. It's processed. It's all processed. Are you getting exactly what they say you are? Who knows? Are you a chemist? Are you going to test it at home? Probably not. So you're just taking their word for it. Not only that, is it actually giving you any benefit? You don't know. It's probably a placebo effect. These things are not making you like, wow, I'm taking this. Now I'm going to build a ton of muscle. No, that's not the truth. And I know that because I've taken these supplements before. When I first started lifting, I was like you. I fucking took things, powders and BCAA, and I'm not now. And I have great workouts. I have the same fucking strength. I have the same kind of progress. I have the same kind of shape and the same pumps. And it's great. It's great. I focus on the food. I'm not saying you can't take those things, but there's more of a risk than a reward. And the risk is wasting your fucking money or having your body absorb nutrients or chemicals and things and artificial sweeteners that are going to negatively affect your body. So I think there's a lot more harm or neutral effect than anything beneficial. Just because one study was done with high volumes of a specific ingredient with elite athletes in a controlled environment doesn't mean if you take 10% of that value, you're going to see amazing results. But that's the way they peddle supplements. And that's why the industry is so booming and makes so much money, because these powders are dirt fucking cheap from China, and they scoop them out, they put it in a container, they shake it up a little bit, and they put it on a shelf, and they vacuum seal it, and boom, they sell it to you for $49.95, and they make 100,000% profit. That's how the game works. And if you want to suck that stuff down, by all means, but that's not going to, I'm telling you, that's not going to be the difference in you getting results or not. If you want to spend money on that, that's on you. That's on you. You know, if you're taking supplements, it should be specifically for deficiencies. It should be specifically for what you're missing. If you're low in iron, then an iron supplement might be right for you. If you're a vegan and you're not getting all your B vitamins, then that might be something that you want to supplement with. But those are specifics. That's what a supplement is, not a BCAA, not a fucking protein powder. Oh, a supplement that's in addition to food. Well, you don't need to take food in addition to food. You might need specific micronutrients. That's where I think it's beneficial. I do Celtic sea salt. I like certain magnesium products, you know, for cramping, for hydration. I like certain things, vitamin D, fish oil. Those things can be very beneficial. And like I said, if you have specific dietary needs that you've actually tested and that you've actually done the work to determine, that can be beneficial. But you don't need these bodybuilding supplements. Those are there to make money. Those are there to prey on your insecurities. They're there to prey on your impatience. They're there to prey on the confusion that this industry causes. And they were doing fine. They were causing plenty of confusion before social media, but now social media is here. And now you have all these people on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Facebook, and everywhere, every which way, that have great physiques, that have coupon codes for these products. So you look at them, but they're having results and they're promoting that. Well, that must work. Let me try that. They are preying on you. They are preying on you like a baby fucking deer, and they are just devouring you whole. You do not need that shit. These expos, the reason why I don't like going to those expos, I don't give a fuck about those expos. I don't want to meet these jabronis. I don't want to bring a bag around, just gather up fucking supplements and bars and shit that people are peddling. Not of my interest. I don't fucking care. I've been to them before. They're boring. They're fucking boring. Everyone's just fucking on anabolics. Everyone's just super fucking tan. Everyone looks bloated and unhealthy, and they're just selling you powders and creams and pills. And it's why? Why the fuck? Why is that associated with health and fitness? That's a whole separate category, but it's bleeding over into what you're trying to accomplish. It's bleeding over into what you're trying to do. The basic training works. The basic food intake works. And if you go super basic and you go for the quality, you are going to absolutely get amazing results. It's not exciting or glamorous to talk about 10 years. Well, in 10 years, you can build an amazing physique. Well, that's where life is going. You're going to be 10 years older in 10 years. Do you want to have a solid, healthy, fucking rock solid physique? Or do you want to try to take and curb corners and suck down all these powders and pills, waste your fucking money and miss the mark and still be dealing with these cycles of weight loss and weight gain and water loss and water retention? That's what happens when you're sucking down a lot of supplements that are causing inflammation. That's what happens when you're cutting carbs and eating carbs and going through all these fluctuations without addressing and without approaching your nutrition on an individualized level. The way it's designed for you, the way it works for you. And in many episodes, I refer to the elimination process, and that's what we do inside Swolenormous X, guide you through the elimination. Eliminating a lot of these foods that cause people's problems. Right? Get rid of the processed dairy, get rid of gluten and grains, get rid of the sodas, the sugars, the fruit juices, get rid of certain vegetables and certain legumes that can cause people problems, and you test these things to figure out which ones work best. When you know what foods work best for your body, guess what you have now? You have information, but you have absolutely individualized, customized information that you yourself acquired. You reconnected with your body. You learn how your body reacts to foods. You learn what it feels like. You learn, and you're acquiring information. Real information that's going to help you make the most progress. That's real. When you do an elimination, you are finding out information about you, not about me, not about what some article says. You are learning what your body, your specific body, how your body reacts to specific foods in your environment. You are literally learning about you. And when you have that information, it is invaluable. You'll have that the rest of your life, and it reconnects you with how your body reacts to what you put in, what you fuel your body with. And it's not until you do that that you realize, oh, my actions do have consequences in the short term. When I eat certain foods, it does fuck me up and I feel it. Holy shit, I never knew that I get nasty migraines or I have nasty bloating when I eat that because I've never gone through this process. And then how do you gain weight? Those foods that your body reacts well to, you fucking eat more of them. You want to lose weight? You fucking eat less of them. Boom. You move more, you eat less to lose weight. You want to gain weight? You still got to move, you still work out and exercise, but then you up the food intake. And you do that day after day after day after fucking day for weeks, months, and years. Bing, bang, boom, done. That's how it works. All this other stuff, I'm telling you, it's smoke and mirrors. It's smoke and fucking mirrors. Most of my gains was before the internet was matured. You could barely find information about creatine. Things were really rough around the edges when I was starting to train. So you know what I was paying attention to? I was reading what these bodybuilders were doing, right? In Flex magazine back when they were still making that. I guess they still do, but Flex magazine, I was reading what these bodybuilders did for their workouts. They ate a lot of food. They were eating X amount of calories a day. You know, I bought supplements and stuff too, but it was about the food, all right? The food, I was obsessed with getting enough calories. I was obsessed with eating regularly, right? Trying to get in that many calories a day. The training, my focus from day one has always been about training and nutrition. It wasn't about the supplements. As much as I would take supplements, I would buy whey protein powders. They were never, ever, ever the foundation. I look back and I see that now. As much as that kind of inspires you, oh, if I take this, I'm going to get bigger. I was relentless with the food. I was always cooking and prepping and bringing it with me wherever I went. I had my food with me. It was nonstop. But guess what? That's what a priority is, and it got amazing results. Big shocker that I focused on the basics. I'm just trying to bring this to you so you don't start at the wrong end of the spectrum. You start with all this shit. You start with counting and measuring. You start with protein bars and powders. It's going to bite you in the ass at some point. You're not learning anything about your body. You're depending on these people that don't give a fuck about your health. My God, do they not give a fuck about your health? You buy a protein bar, that's what they care about. You buy a Quest bar, that's what they care about. They don't fucking care about your health. They don't give a shit about your health. Oh, you think any of that is for your health? It's marketing. It's marketing. People want low carb stuff. All right, we'll make it. We'll put a ton of shit fiber in there, And then you'll see, oh, low net carbs will make it taste like cookies and cream, and that'll be good. They'll buy that. That's all they care about. You're going to read their fucking mission statement? Well, what's the end product? I don't give a fuck about your mission statement when the product is a fucking bar that looks like it looks like a fucking dump that's packaged and tastes like cookies and cream. Artificial as shit. Like, for real. These companies do not give a shit about your health. They don't. They want to sell their stuff. They want to sell their stuff. Maybe at the beginning that was the idea. But how can that actually translate through when the actual fundamental, the outcome is artificial food? Yeah, well, I don't care. Look, he made a Tom Billy. Okay, he has a good show. He says good things. I don't give a fuck. Quest bars are disgusting. Anything that stays in a package good for like 10 fucking years that looks like a lump of, like it looks like a dump. It looks like a packaged turd and it tastes like raspberry cream or strawberry shortcake. Get the fuck out of here. Like, who are you trying to fool? Who are you trying to fool? Is it as bad as a Snickers bar? Probably not. So what argument does that make? But if you're in an emergency, you need food fast, don't eat. You don't need to eat all the time. It's good for your body to not have food. Like, don't eat for 5 minutes. Don't eat for 10 minutes. You're on the road. Okay, bring real food or don't eat for an hour or two. You'll be fucking fine. You'll be fine. Look at this. It's better to drink a meal replacement shake or have nothing at all. Nothing at all. This is my opinion. I'm not sitting here with 13,000 research studies. I'm sitting here with common sense. I'm trying to let you know how results are truly achieved. It's not by sucking down these things. The only thing that's going to get leaner is your wallet. It's the only thing that you're cutting down on is how much money you have in the bank when you're buying these supplements. People can complain all the time about how food is so expensive. No, it's not. It's a lot cheaper when you're not going out to eat. It's a lot cheaper when you're not spending $100 to go to the movies. It's not more expensive if you're not spending money on fucking garbage supplements and you're spending money on real food. Can't buy organic? Then don't buy organic. Level up when you can. You know, I mean, you can make any argument for any side of the coin, but buy real food. That's where you start. People don't gain muscle and build muscle. People have trouble with that because they don't eat past when they're full. It's hard to eat real food. No one has a problem when it's junk food, when it's Big Macs or fries or ice cream. No one has problems sucking in more calories. It's because of the triggers. It's because of that sweet flavor. It's because of that mouth trigger, right? Your taste buds, your brain doesn't get the information circulated quick enough and you eat more than you should. You eat past when you're full, but you're not getting in nutrients. When you eat real whole food, it's hard as fuck to bulk up when you're eating real food. Why? Because you fill your stomach. You got fiber, you got real food, you get full. Oh, but you want to build muscle? Oh, you want to bulk up? Shit, you got to eat more. How glorious and how wonderful and how glamorous is it to have a meal, a nice plate. You ate a nice big piece of steak, you had a bowl of broccoli, you had a sweet potato. After you're done, only to realize, fuck, I need to eat another sweet potato. I've been there. I eat it, I'm drinking water, you're eating it, holding your mouth because you're fucking gagging, because you're full. Because you're fucking full and you don't want more food. But if you want to gain, you have to eat more. It's so hard to me to gain. I eat so many calories a day, but I just can't gain. I'm just a hard gainer. No, you're a hard eater. You're not eating enough. Facts on facts. You're just not eating enough. Well, how many calories are you eating? Well, I think I'm eating this. I'm eating this. Bullshit. Anyone that asks that question, they're not being analytical enough. They're not really watching what they eat. They're not tracking what they eat. They're not really looking at, they're not being consistent. Anyone that has trouble gaining weight, they're not fucking doing it. They're not. Why? Because they're not getting the results. They're not gaining weight. It's not complicated. You have to eat more. What are you, just a magic superhero and you can eat 13,000 calories a day and never gain a pound? Bullshit. You're just not doing it right. You're not eating enough and you're not training hard enough. Either or and both probably. It's not complicated. You want to lose weight? You're not eating the right foods, and you're probably also eating too much as a byproduct of eating the wrong foods. You're getting inflammation. Your stress hormones are through the fucking roof. You got to work on your hydration, your sleep, the quality of your food, and your exercise routine and be more consistent. That's not complicated either. So before you start depending and looking for all these other answers and getting complicated with, oh, is keto better or is this better and vegan and this? Fuck all that shit. You need to do an elimination first. A lot of you that are trying to cut out meat and cut out these things, you're cutting out shit meat. You're not eating high quality meat anyway. So you think you need to be a vegan. You think you need to be a vegetarian. You think you don't digest meat and animal products well. It's because you're eating garbage animal products. So what do you think your body's going to react to? I was getting nasty heartburn and shit like that years ago when I was eating garbage chicken. I didn't realize it until I did more research and I cut that out and it fucking went away and has never come back. You are what your food eats. It's literal common sense. It is not complicated. You need to pay attention to what the quality is of your food. And if you're spending money on supplements, but you're slacking on the quality of your food, you have it backwards and it's going to bite you in the ass in the end. That's why people have all these metabolic diseases. That's why cancer is rampant. That's why all these things are just fucking through the roof because people have it backwards. Got it backwards. I don't have all the answers either, but most people are not even looking at it in this way. You got to start here. This is where you start. Where do I start? There's so much information. Exactly. Most of that information, fuck all that information. It's not useful. And it certainly isn't useful at the beginning. If you don't have these things locked down, what are you worried about? So many people are worried about blood flow restriction. Should I do that to get better results? But they're not eating the right food. They're not hydrating enough. They're not getting good sleep. They're not practicing yoga. What are you fucking worried about? You want a tourniquet? You want to cut off blood flow while you're training? Good luck with that. Have fun with those aneurysms. People are really, really, really ass backwards when it comes to fitness. And it's not necessarily your fault. You are inundated and hammered. Social media and phones just make it easier for the flood of information to be confusing. But that's on the surface. If you wake up out of this stupor and you realize what it's for and what it's trying to accomplish, you don't need that stuff. If anything, if you take one thing from this episode, it's not going to be valuable enough for you to spend money on it. You're not going to take this product and all of a sudden get so much better results if you don't have your food locked on point, if you don't have your training locked on point, if you're not consistent fucking all the time for months, and if you're not consistent as shit. A lot of you think you're more consistent than you are. If you're having a couple cheat meals a week, you're not consistent at all. You think you are, you're not. Talked about this many times. One cheat meal a week, that's 14% of your week, right? Or 2 days out of a week is 28%, something like that. Oh, but it's just one meal. It's not a whole day. Well, you don't know how the body works. You don't know how long these nutrients and these foods stay in your body and cause damage. It can be 24, 48, and 72 hours of inflammation and problems. So you can call it a cheat meal. It's a day in which you had a cheat meal and it matters. Your food quality matters. And if you don't believe me, then keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on asking questions and keep on acting confused. I don't know why I'm not getting results. How come I'm still retaining fat? Well, because you're not doing it right and you're not trying hard enough and you're slacking and you just don't want to admit it to yourself and you are in control. So that's a good thing and a bad thing. But one of the hardest things to do is to take responsibility for your shortcomings. Is it your fault? Yes. Do you understand that it's your fault, or are you trying to still make excuses as to why you're not getting the results? Is it the program's fault? Is it the supermarket's fault that you bought Tostitos? Is it the gym's fault that you aren't pushing to failure? Is it like, whose fault is it? It's yours. It's all yours. Oh, the supermarket, but all the foods are so tempting, but it was buy one, get one free. Of course they put on the end cap. Of course they put it on sale. Notice how the real quality foods are never on sale, but the Oreos are always 2 for $4, buy one, get one free. It's because they cost nothing to make. They cost nothing to make. And when they're on the shelf long enough and they're a couple months closer to their expiration date, they're like, fuck, let's run a buy one or buy one, get two free sale. And they'll fly off the shelves because people are like, oh, cool, it's so cheap and inexpensive. Yeah. And they're giving away their product and they're still making 10,000% profit because it's literal sugar formed in a jizz cookie. I've been going ham on Oreos lately, going hard on that shit. It's smoke and mirrors. You're getting distracted, but you're allowing yourself to get distracted. You're allowing yourself to get distracted. Most of these questions are just a product of your confusion, but you're just looking at the fog. Ignore it. Ignore it. Sean, best thing I did so far is to cut out sodas and energy drinks. Super simple. Think of how the thousands of calories of just worthlessness that you're consuming. Totally. Grass-fed beef has made a world of difference and is cheaper when you go to a butcher rather than be ignorant and shop in department stores. True. I cut out dairy because it screws with my stomach. Hopefully I'm not calcium deficient, LOL. Yeah, milk is a terrible source of calcium. That's been the biggest scam of the century. Eat some vegetables, you'll be fine. Yeah, Game of Thrones themed Oreos. I think that's brilliant marketing, but it's the same thing. It's just it's printed. The sugar is shaped in a different form to show the sigil of the family and the flag in Game of Thrones. I get it. It's good marketing. It's brilliant marketing, but it's the same fucking thing in a different shape. All the cookies, all of it. It's just the same products. High fructose corn syrup, sugar, cornstarch. It's just formulated in different shapes. It's literally taking the same clay and just making different shapes and putting it on a shelf and calling it different things. And everyone just goes and buys it. That's literally what it is. It's a scam. It's a trick. It just legit. It legit is the Matrix. That movie was no joke. It's just more and more true. Every fucking day. It's just more and more true. Cheat meal and cheat day are two totally different things. No, they are not. Unfortunately, they are not. And I feel like people aren't disciplined enough to have a cheat meal and not an entire day of eating shit. Unfortunately, that's not true. If you're eating garbage on a day, that's a cheat day. That's a day in which you are cheating. You don't have to eat garbage all fucking day for it to categorize as a cheat day. If you're eating junk, that's a day in which you are cheating. And that's where people really get away with it or feel like they get away with it. They have a cheat meal once in a while. It ends up being 2 or 3 times a week, and they're constantly exposing their body to these fucking garbage foods. And it makes a bigger difference than most people realize, especially when you go through the elimination and you realize, wow, and this is what you don't understand until you try and do this. Because when you have a food that your body does not react well to, and let's say you test it on a Monday, this can cause you issues, migraines, bloating, cramps, whatever it is, for 2, 3, 4 days. I've heard some people have issues up to a week after, but 24 to 48 hours is no shocker to have issues as a result of a food you consume. So it's actually more than a cheat day. A cheat meal is more than a cheat day. It's probably 2 or 3 cheat days. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. I didn't create the human body, but that's how the body works. It takes a while. It's not digested and disappears instantaneously. It's in the system. My cheat meal is an at-home made organic bison burger. That's not a cheat at all. That's a staple. If you're having buns and, all that grains and shit, then okay, that might be a cheat. And a lot of people have fucking major issues with that. But I eat beef fucking all the time. I love that shit. I used to drink a gallon of Mountain Dew a day, 2,400 calories of shit. That's intense. A gallon of Mountain Dew. Fucking hell. Good for you for not doing that anymore. That's a serious addiction. It's how you look at it. That's the psychological approach that most people are missing. You're raised to look at these nutrition facts, and you're subtly raised to do the whole if it fits your macros thing when you're little. You look in the back, how many calories does it have? This. In what context? 100 calories might be a lot in certain situations. 100 calories in other situations might not be a lot. And there's a lot more to it than just the energy balance. Yes, a surplus, you can gain weight over time. A deficit, you can lose weight over time. But what is in those foods in the short term is much more impactful. You're not going to gain tons of weight in one day. You're not. You're going to retain water and bloating. If you have foods that your body doesn't react well to, and you're like, oh, I gained 5 pounds, It's water weight. You didn't gain 5 pounds of fucking fat. You retained water. You're retaining a lot of liquid because your body has inflammation. Your body is trying to dilute the stuff that you're consuming. And a lot of cases, that's how it reacts. That's one of the byproducts of having inflammation is bloating and water retention. That's one of them. Everyone has different reactions. And those of you that are listening and watching right now, a lot of you have done the elimination. So you're dropping in the comments your own personal experiences. And we do this a lot, but it's important to see in writing what other people, real people, have discovered. And I'm not making this up. I am just stating my experience. I'm stating other people, and it's a very common sense approach that is unfortunately overlooked because it's too simple. Simple answers are the answer. Simplicity is overlooked because it couldn't possibly be that simple. It couldn't possibly be that simple. Everyone's so different. We are more the same than we are different as humans. Yes, we are all different. We have different, gut biome ratios with bacteria. We're all different, but we are more similar than we are different. And if we approach our nutrition and our training in this manner, more people will get results. That's why I'm so hell-bent on this approach, because this is something that will help more people. Will it help everyone? Does this approach psychologically work for everyone? Nothing works for everyone. It doesn't mean that it wouldn't work if they did it. Doesn't mean you can't get results in a different manner, but I want you to get results from the healthiest direction. I want you to get results by not sacrificing your actual health just to get abs. I don't care if you have abs, if you're going to have heart disease because you're pounding some kind of chemicals. Not really a good, not a good look. Not a good look. I think you can have both, but you have to switch. You have to flip a switch in your brain and approach your training and nutrition differently. Cody, I did a driving while gaining on that fucktard, on that ad with the pizza ad. If you haven't checked it out yet, check out my YouTube channel, the V-Shred one. It was recent. It was in the last month or two. Yeah, it was an ad about him sitting on the couch eating pizza. Yeah, he's a moron though. Do not follow that person for information. If you watch him laugh and move on, do not listen to a word that comes out of that guy's mouth. Unfortunately, he just doesn't keep it closed. He needs to. Legit. Yeah, the secret. That's the secret. Oh, all this time the secret was eating pizza? Who the fuck would have guessed? Oh man. I thought I had the answer. I didn't know you had to eat pizza to get results. Fuck, what have I been doing this whole time? What have I been doing? Where have I been? Where have I been? I had it all wrong. Anyway, brand new Ask Papa Swole on YouTube. If you're not yet subscribed, go and subscribe over on my YouTube channel at Swolenormous. Brand new video today, and a great one on elimination, a great one on nutrition coming tomorrow. So make sure you subscribe and check that out. And of course, tomorrow we're doing a massive Q&A. So the Sunday Fun Day Q&A-ness is mañana for episode 1087. And of course, it's episode 3, the big battle, Game of Thrones. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, this is like my one thing that I watch. This is my one treat. So I'm excited. I'm fucking amped. Tomorrow's going to be a great episode. So we'll talk about that and more. I'll answer all your questions tomorrow and all that stuff. Remember to subscribe to my second podcast, The Swolenormous Audio Experience. And if you're interested in getting started with all of this, I understand that there is a lot of information. I understand that I do give a lot of information. I talk about a lot of things, and you can easily get overwhelmed. And I get that. That's why I do the podcast. But that's also why I created Swolenormous X, so I can put everything in one place and make it actionable. I don't want to just tell you things, because information is only good if you put it into action. So all my experience and education and all of this content that we talk about with training and nutrition is all in Swolenormous X, with all the training programs, walks you through the elimination diet, helps you figure out and determine your optimal nutrition lifestyle. There's a recipe archive that's growing every single month. There's full yoga classes. There's Swole classes, the mobility classes that I teach. There's the Swollen 7-minute mobility classes. So there's no excuse that you don't have fucking time. Everything that you need, plus the best community on the internet, and I think in the world, period. Real or virtual. Swole Enormous X members are phenomenal. So you'll get all that accountability. We do weekly accountability meetings, weekly master classes on nutrition and training. It's all there, swolenormousx.com. You can subscribe to the podcast there too. So if you want to learn more, go check out swolenormousx.com. It's time to get this going. Don't wait till summer. This is not like some kind of like sweet, like, oh, little 6-week challenge, shred up for summer. But why wait another fucking day? If you didn't get on your resolutions at the beginning of the year, like I warned you about, start today. Don't keep fucking waiting. Don't keep fucking waiting because it's not going to get better. Don't wait to start. Don't procrastinate. It's not worth it. Ain't worth it, fam. It's not worth it. But definitely go check out my YouTube channel, swolenormousx.com, for all the details. And I'll see you tomorrow for episode 1087 of the Most Muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleevescast, and Slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. See you tomorrow for the Sunday Fun Day Q&A-ness. Peace, McGee's, deuce, magoose, your boy Papa Swolio, out.